Things have been crazy, but we are back. Hello, everybody. I'm A.R. Kaufmann. This is Write It Out Radio. And we are finally back with another episode of good stuff, good shit. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Here's what I wanted to do today. Today, I want to do, if I can talk properly, is cover the big news since the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year had a lot of shit happening, especially in January. And there were three things that I saw today surfing around online, because that's pretty much my life. It's pretty much what I do all day, that I thought would be really cool. And some crazy news, some sad news, and some fun facts. So this is your full story segment. Probably going to change names. Who gives a shit? Don't forget to come by our Facebook page, Facebook.com/write.it.out.radio. Check us out online, writeitoutradio.com. We are actually getting the website updated. We have a lot of new cool stuff going on. I have new shows, new segments, new people. We're going to be working a lot with Cynthia McGregor, more. Mr. Joey G's is coming back on. We have new podcasts launching with our Podmob Media Group. So we have been very busy. So software updates, new shit, always new shit. So, first story. To be the top three. Who are the biggest publishers so far of 2019 and what made them that way? I grabbed the top three. There's tons out there. I could have did the whole list. And this is traditional publishers. I'm not talking self-publishers or independent or boutiques. That's too much digging and information to go through. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. So, the first one is... And number three, Spreaker Nature. Spreaker Nature, their annual revenue sits around like $1.9 billion. The most notable imprints they have is Biomed Central, Nature Research, and Palgrave Macmillan, which, you know, it's journals, it's scholarly stuff. The biggest titles of 2018. It's an academic journals on a range of different scientific topics. So anything with data, sciencey data, and topics of sciencey data stuff was them. So I did kind of poke around their sites a little bit, and they have some really cool research and case researching and all different kinds of cool stuff out there that pretty in depth and actually really well written. And I'm not a huge fan of scholarly articles because there's a whole bit on that. But I have my reasons why I don't like them too much, because I believe some of them are misinforming, especially like OMIC and stuff like that, who have been caught trying to profit heavily off of, predatorily scamming people with scholarly articles, which a lot of industries kind of rely on. Especially like, I don't know, educational and people who need to be thought leaders and information sources, they need to be published. And so they were kind of predatorily acting on that. And that's why I don't always like to read scholarly, because you never know who they are until you're had. All right, so number two, Hachette Livre. They're part of the big five. Everyone knows Hachette. The annual revenue, $2.7 billion. Hachette's part of the big five. Everyone knows Hachette. Notable imprints, Grand Central Publishing, Little, Brown & Company, and Mulholland Books. Everyone knows them. The biggest titles they had of 2018, The President is Missing by Bill Clinton and James Patterson, which is a crazy good book. James Patterson is a killer, and Bill Clinton he's a fellow American. Anyone who remembers the Bill Clinton age knows the Bill Clinton thumb. Our fellow Americans. I love Bill Clinton. Then he moved to Harlem. That guy's the man. And also Calypso by David Sedaris and In Pieces by Sally Fields. So I did read In Pieces. Badass book. And I actually want to read The President is Missing. I saw it and I was like, I don't know about that. But I forget. And number one, Penguin. Penguin Random House. Another one of the big five. I think anyone who knows the industry enough, even a little bit, knows that was probably coming. Annual revenue, $3.3 billion reported. Notable imprints, Alfred A. Knopf, Crown Publishing, Viking Press, also big names, also theirs. Biggest titles of 2018 they had was Becoming by Michelle Obama, excuse me, Educated by Tara Westover, and Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, which Born a Crime is a pretty good book, pretty good read. So check that one out. So that is to be the top 3 best publishers. Now, I do kind of want to touch on something a little more sad. I was going ahead and checking out the news feeds and trying to keep up. I did come across some sad news. We lost a very beloved woman this year by the name of Diana Athill. Diana Athill is a British author, she's an author, novelist, editor, and memoirist since, born in like 1917. She was born during an air raid in London. That's pretty badass. She did not conform to any trend. She wrote past taboos. She was very, very, I don't want to say rough around edges because she was very beloved. And she's been in the publishing industry she passed away at 101 this year. And she was still pretty active. She was winning awards in like 2009 for her memoirs. And it's pretty great. She passed away the 23rd of this January, which was confirmed by her publisher, Granta Book. And she was very big as far as informational. And she really taught people how to accept themselves as writers and how to embrace their own style and push past cultural influence on style. Don't write into the trends. Don't believe the bullshit. Be your own author. Allow yourself to be that author, allow yourself to be that writer, and allow yourself to grow and flourish. And don't worry about the binds of your surroundings. And it's actually very true. You are your worst enemy. I went ahead and did a little bit digging, and there's tons of quotes from her and tons of fun things you can hear. And I kind of wanted to throw in something fun, and I came across one that I thought was really cool. She was an editor, and she was really well-known editor. She was really good for making books flow, great structure. She knew her books. And she didn't even consider herself an editor. She considered herself a nanny, which was hilarious because if you actually dig into her a little bit, she's a ditty girl. And she was very, very open with that. And she's very proud of herself and proud of her sexuality and proud of her openness. And, she described editing, the whole process, as a simple thing, which I've stressed is a complete nightmare. Editing is an art to me. She's one of the most popular editors, one of the most well-known, probably the most talented to ever touch the industry. She said it's simple. And I read into that, and I thought it was really cool. She said in an interview with New Statement in 2012 about when they were talking about editing and about the publishing game, she said, editing is a simple thing. We would not have published a novel if we couldn't have published it as it came in. And it's banter back and forth. She continued with, after, when she gets a book, then I just worked to polish it up a bit. And it's such a cool outlook on novels. And people freak out thinking about their acceptance in the industry and about how much they can please their editor. If you write how you feel and how you feel the book should be grabbed, and if you write to please yourself and to please your, to appease yourself, you're going to have a good book. Now, irregardless of sale, don't go by the industry numbers. Industry numbers are fucking screwed. Things are up, down, left, right, bad information. Who gives a shit? Do you. It's your book, it's your name on the cover. Who cares if you get a bad review? Take it, absorb it, roll on. That's life, man. That's how life should be. Don't go by all the other bullshit hype. You got to write into the trends. Let's write about trans sparkle vampire wolves that like Skittles. Who gives a shit? Don't worry about what other people will like because they're liking it now. 9 times out of 10, by the time you finish the fucking thing, they're going to be over it. Trends change. Write what you are interested in, what you have worked your ass off to put your heart into, to put that pen to paper, to get that paper to draft, to get that draft to digital. That's you. That's not anyone else doing it. Do you? They will notice. Readers will notice that. Don't force a topic. Don't force a genre. Write what you want and then grow from there. So this one I thought was really crazy. And I don't really follow much of tabloid or strict newsing done by authors because people are getting sued left and right all the time. Crazy things are happening. The only reason why this caught me is because I recently saw this show for the first time. It's a show called 13 Reasons Why. Now, I knew that was an adaptation from author Jay Asher. I was well informed of that. And I knew he was a member of the Society of Children's Books, Writers, and Illustrators, the SCBWI. I'm actually going to say the SC because while I was practicing saying that, because you have to practice things, I found out saying SCBWI is a tongue twister for me. And for those who haven't noticed, I slur a little bit from my days of being punched in the head of boxing and kickboxing, so I don't use mouth movements well. And you're just going to have to fucking deal with me saying SCB, which I'm cool with. So, Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators put in timeout, bad boy. So, Jay Asher he's a Penguin Young Readers author. They published the 13 Reasons Why, filed a lawsuit in LA County Superior Court against SCBWI and Lynn Oliver, the group's executive director. The document showed the reasoning behind the lawsuit was claims that SCBWI made false and defamatory statements about him that unfairly damaged his reputation and career. Now, for the author behind 13 Reasons Why, anyone who's seen that show would be like, well, that's a big claim because that guy does some crazy shit. He touches on some really good topics that are really rough to digest. And his goal for the lawsuit is to seek legal damages for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Legal damages is it's a restitution. It's a monetary. It's usually money. And he did have a weird allegation years ago. And that was in 2017. No one ever really looked into it because nothing ever really came out of it. But apparently that is kind of the driving factor behind this. Early 2017, the author was expelled from the SCBWI for violating their code of conduct. Now, he was a huge part of the faculty when they do their conferences and stuff like that, and so he was very involved with them. This news was kept relatively quiet until there's always an until the School Library Journal published an article in the beginning of 2018 titled "Children's Publishing Reckons with Sexual Harassment in Its Ranks." I was like, holy shit, that's a rough, wow. If that's not a hook for a title, yeah, that hits all kinds of nervies. Okay, so the following the 2018 article, which kind of talked more in depth about what happened in the 2017 allegations of him, which led to his separation from the group and his membership being relinquished. Following 2018 article's release, the executive director, Lynn Oliver, told the Associated Press in an interview that in 2017, she received numerous emails claiming that Jay Asher would use the popular SCBWI conferences as sort of like these are my words, not theirs, like a hunting ground. I hate to use the word hunting ground, but I've been watching Dexter again, and, well, if you know that show, then you know that I'm using that. And he's been using the conferences as a kind of a cultivator. And the emails went on to detail that he would lure women into physical relationships and making unspecified threats to get them to stay quiet about their acts. Now, he never denied the affairs. He's never denied them. So we knew about that, luring him in, crazy. Now, these accusations that she claimed and she stated to the AP became the cause and backbone. She said that these accusations alone caused the SCBWI to conduct a detailed investigation. They launched, boom, we're now investigating. We must find out to verify and properly handle the situation, which is correct. You got to look into shit. What was revealed during that whole investigatory process and detective work, I'm sure with some form of top hat and spyglass, it's the only way that you can really look into things properly. That's how things are done. That's the way I see it. If you had an nautical one eyeglass thing, that'd be cool too. But I don't know where to buy that. It was revealed during the investigation. What happened there, what they found out ultimately led to the expulsion of Asher's membership. The distinguish it. Boom. Goodbye. The executive director added that the author will no longer be a member of the faculty present at or attend any future SCBWI events. Period. Now, that's a pretty big, especially for a man who just had a major book release, successfully young, in youth, and touching on rough topics, and an adaptation that in Netflix that already is signed for a third season. So, I mean, no, now it is. But last year, it still was signed then too. So, and this statement became the backbone driving factor behind the lawsuit. Jay Asher's attorney, Patrick Fisher, he stated, and I quote, "These women voluntarily entered into and in some instances initiated relationships with Mr. Asher. He did not offer to help these women professionally and they were not his subordinates. There is no harassment by Mr. Asher at any point of these relationships." He went on to say, "The SCBWI failed to conduct an investigation of any kind and intentionally ignored evidence that would have shown Mr. Asher was completely innocent. Instead, the SCBWI recklessly issued a false statement in the heat of the Me Too movement that unfairly damaged the reputation and career of one of the country's most successful young adult authors. We look forward to presenting these facts to a jury." I'm fighting words where I come from. I come from Staten Island, New York. That doesn't fucking fight. That's meet me under the street lamp. That's what it is. That we're gonna fist to cuff it up. That's nuts right there. So we have one side stating that they had anonymous emails from numerous sources stating that he's using their conferences, children's book conferences, as a cultivating platform to find all these females to engage in big people's acts. And from there, he's making whatever threats and, blah, 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 to keep, a little hush, hush. So he's doing that shit. And then you have on the other side, that's not true. And the Me Too movement is right. They're out to protect. They're out to stop shit just like this. And they do what they do. They're going to try to crush you. I mean, if you're a rapist, you deserve it. You probably deserve to be castrated, kicked in the face. I'm not a huge fan of them. Fuck them. Fisher stated that Asher's SCBWI membership remained active for more than 9 months with no actions taken. This is after the allegations, after the investigations. He later said that the author's status within the group organically expired in 2017. He didn't renew it. And they even suggested later on, it was said that Lynn Oliver herself suggested that he should just renew his membership with the SCBWI after it expired. After all these things took place, they said he should just renew his membership. That's crazy. That's a big one. In an interview with Publisher Weekly, the reporter Andrew Baum, which, by the way, he's got some pretty cool shit. I after reading this one, I kind of poked through his profile a little bit and kind of seeing what he had going on. And he's got some good articles out there. So check him out. Okay. So Publisher Weekly reporter Andrew Baum. Lynn Oliver stood her ground firmly. She stood her ground defending her statement to the Associated Press. And she went on and said, and I quote, "SCBWI received an email anonymously signed by 7 of our female members stating that they had all had affairs with Jay Asher, and several felt threatened and intimidated into silence by him. Asher confirmed that he had engaged in sexual relationships with multiple fellow members of the SCBWI, which is what they decided from that point to, take that as his acknowledgement. Like, yeah, all right, I did it. They said it. They approached him. He didn't deny it, and they canceled the membership. And she went on to say, "We believe the lawsuit is entirely without merit and will be vigorously defended." That's nuts. You look into it, the SCBWI does have a stellar record. And if you kind of do a little digging, just to play devil's advocate, there is kind of a growing pattern inside the smaller membership groups of faculty kind of using that position of power to prey upon. I don't like to say the word prey upon. Usually it's just, I don't want to say the word spit and game, because not all of it's, ill-intended. Some of it's just need-driven. Shoulder shrug, you know what I mean? But, I mean, if it's, as long as there's a consensual to it, I guess it can't be all that bad. But if it's not consensual, that's predatory. That's the grape with a silent G status. And it's rough today, man. It's really difficult, that grape with a silent G, to be, it got thrown around a lot. And I think society's at a really, it's at a weird point. It's at a really weird point right now, where we are scared to push back against those words. I mean, number one, I personally have worked with a lot of, majority females, who have been, victims of that situation. And man, the stories I've heard, it's horrifying. I have girls. I got 3 girls and 1 boy. I never wish it on anybody. It's terrible, but it's also, you hear a lot of things about false accusations, just mad, pissed, and then like, what was it? There's a politician recently. I can't remember what his name was. It's actually my other shows. I usually just talk about stuff like this, but he came out and was accused by somebody on the opposite side of the aisle, and it turned out to be a politically driven motivation from what I've seen and read, and I don't believe anything I read. I don't believe anything on the internet. Period. It's a weird day and age we're in, to where everything's very opinionated, everything's very biased. That's just the way it is. Anyone say that we're not is just dumb. We are. I do things that benefit me and my family. Who wouldn't? If you had the ability to make somebody poor in order to make yourself filthy rich, and the only thing you have to do is just do something really shitty, hell yeah, you'd do it. I want to be rich. That'd be nice. But we are going to be covering more of this as it develops. We're digging into a lot more stuff. We have a lot of cool things coming up. New sponsors come rolling over. New shows releasing. We have some really big things, everybody. But don't forget to check us out on Twitter, AR_Kaufmann. Check us out on Facebook at right.it.out.radio. And it.had.happy dots. No dots, big dots, little dots. And then the fucking dot. But we have a lot more guests coming. We have a lot more big things. We're on RadioNet. We're on Spotify. We're on TuneIn. We're on Stitcher. We're on YouTube. On iTunes. We're on SoundCloud. We're on Podco. We're on CastBox. We're fucking everywhere. We're everywhere, guys. Don't dick around. Get on the bandwagon. If you guys have any books you want us to review, we are taking in now some submissions. We'll be reviewing books, any products. Hit us up at writeitoutradio@gmail. And shoot us a talk. Visit us on our Facebook. Shoot us a message. We've been getting a lot of messages, so it takes a bit for us to respond back. And I am the worst with that. I apologize, but I am but one man. And that's why I hired people to do it for me, but I keep doing it myself anyway because I'm a dumbass. But check us out there. We have more shows coming up. And I love everybody. Everybody's great. Everybody's fun. And keep on writing. And you'll be hearing more from us soon. Rawr.